All right, guys. Well, I had full plans actually having this done by now, and of course, maple syrup season has already started, and it totally caught me off guard. I'd been kind of focused on property we're looking at buying, and got some downtime on Sunday, and so I am gonna be kind of retrofitting this pan that I built last year. Stainless. I had a bunch of stuff I had laying around. I got a preheat top tank, and then when it gets to a certain level, it'll hopefully the idea is it'll drain kind of down into the main pan, and then when you're about to finish off your maple syrup, you'll be able to drain it off here. So, and I kind of welded that. I just got a couple couplers and then welded it at an angle. I was trying to figure out as much as I could. My dad's got a couple pans and wanted to figure out what I could to make them a little bit better after the experiences we've had. So yeah, I guess for right now, I'm gonna take a couple measurements. I think it's barely, exactly gonna fit. I mean, I think I'm gonna have to cut here to here, and then I'm hoping I got enough metal down there to make something work. I'm not looking to throw a bunch of money at it or anything like that. So yeah, I'll start taking some measurements and see how it's going. All right, so the first thing you want to do is lay out your barrel for the pan you are going to use. A lot of these, obviously this is a custom built pan. A lot of people seem to be using the fryer pans off of Amazon. They're stainless steel. We kind of started out like that, and they just ended up being kind of too flimsy, but it's nice because they can be kind of a throwaway item if they get kind of gross and whatnot. But since my pan is homemade, we're gonna have to lay it out. It ended up being 24 1/8 long, I guess. So I marked it out. I used the center line on my barrel to just kind of use as a reference. When I built this barrel stove, I used that to line up everything as well. So the first thing that I did was kind of find 24 1/8 from here to here. I kind of just centered it in between the chimney and the front of the stove. I'm not going to able to get full surface area of this pan just because it's a little too wide. Just for the same reason of I can only go from the top of the door. So I just took my level, put my level just where it's flush with the door right there, and then marked it on each side of my barrel. And then I found that that was exactly 10 inches with my fabric tape from the center line on the barrel stove down to where I need to go for the top of the door. So I wish I could have gone a little bit deeper with the pan just to get some more surface area, but it is what it is. So I used that center line in my fabric tape, and I did just a bunch of measurements from the center of the stove down to here, center of the stove down to here, and then pretty much connected the dots on both sides. And then I just use my combination square to just kind of follow along with a marker. So yeah, that's kind of pretty much how you lay it out. And then I'm going to be using, I got a new cordless Ryobi angle grinder that I'm going to see how it works. I kind of figured it was for light duty work, but I'll try cutting it. This stuff's pretty thin. It's not like I'm going to burn it up or anything like that. That was my first time using that Ryobi grinder other than brushing up a couple welds. And actually, I wouldn't heavy cut with it, but man, if you're just doing some light tin work, that works pretty decent. I mean, you can definitely stall it out, but it's better than having something corded. Kind of figured that'd take away from the integrity of the stove a little bit. I'm hoping that I got some metal laying around after I deburr this up and clean it up a little bit to just kind of, I'm not sure yet, just run the edge with some angle or even flat stock. I guess we'll see how it fits. I like the glove. Nice. It's not exactly a super tight fit, but there's maybe, I don't know, an 1/8 gap there, and yeah, probably an 1/8 over here too. So it's gonna leak a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Pretty much flush with that. So yeah, I'm gonna take this off, and seems to like it's sitting pretty level. I mean, this stove sits on 2 cinder blocks out in the backyard, so I'll probably have to shim it up a little bit anyways. And during the not maple season, syrup season, I'm gonna save that. I don't know if I'm gonna make like a hinge thing, that way you can hinge it over to put this in, or just kind of outlay it with something and it can just be a cover like that. It'd be nice to just have a barrel stove out back too, I guess. So I had these pieces of flat stock just underneath the bench. They fit almost perfect. I'm just gonna cut them down a little bit and then just weld them in kind of like that, except flush. That way, you know, it doesn't quite sit on there, but it supports it really nice. Alright, I got the braces all cleaned up and the spots where I'm going to weld on the barrel. Just tack these in. Got them all welded in. I think I'm just gonna brush them flat quick with the grinder, and I'll probably finish it. I think I have the stove out back. I couldn't seem to get it to stay upright, so I don't know if I'm gonna make some supports that go from here to the stack. It seems like on the windy days it always just blows over. So yeah, I'll put that pan back on there. That needs to get washed pretty good, and thinking maybe I'll go to Farm and Fleet today and go get a bunch of buckets. I have some taps, and we usually tap up north with my dad, and it's kind of the first year I'm doing it. Hopefully the first year that we're gonna do it on our little acre here, but I've got probably 50 maples. I think they're all silver maples, but 50 on an acre, so it's like, it's easy. So the same material, I just, that flat stock that I had laying around, I have a bunch of little tidbits and pieces. I just bent this over in the vise to make a handle out of it, and I'll weld it on there, and then I'm gonna put these 4 little tabs just kind of on the outside, so that way it's got something to rest against when you set this on top. All right, nothing too crazy. Handle, couple tabs. See how it fits. Hey, good enough for me. Just didn't want it to pretty much completely fill up with rain, so. Well, I think it's all wrapped up. This was just kind of my solution to the stack. I mean, the screws weren't working anymore, and I don't really plan on cleaning the stack. It can burn and get hot or creosote, so I just welded some more flat stock on there, and it seems to be holding it really good now. So yeah, I think the only thing I have left to do is, I think my buddy Ben's got some bricks out back. See if I can maybe get, I don't know, 20 of them to maybe line the bottom of it a little bit. I worry about just having a fire in one of these for so long that the barrel just getting too hot and kind of maybe melting through. I'm not sure. Kind of my first experience using a barrel stove for a evaporator, but hoping the bricks will help out. So yeah, pretty easy, not that hard to do. I mean, obviously, you know, the pan, but you can use fryer pans like everybody else seems to be using, and not that hard to modify one of these barrel stoves to do this. It's a cheap, easy way to get into maple syrup, and kind of my backyard solution to having fun out here too. So, all right, hope you guys liked this video, and if you guys need any more information on it or kind of the setup I'm gonna go with here, feel free to comment or message me.